First, a small sliver of hope from Gaza after weeks of misery. 2 days of a UN-led polio vaccination campaign has reached 1/4 of the exclave's vulnerable children. But humanitarian officials say this humanitarian pause is not enough.
I think to make a real movement, a real progress on all of that, you need, of course, a ceasefire, and you need to have a start in proper peace process and moving forward.
And that's where we find ourselves as this conflict comes close to the 1-year mark, with no sign of peace and with the flames of anger raging. Anger on all sides, from Israeli protesters who say their government failed to rescue 6 hostages before Hamas killed them, and is failing to do enough to help the remaining captives. Rage from Palestinians furious over the continued pace of violence that has torn Gaza apart. And what looks like exasperation coming from U.S. President Joe Biden, who spent weeks out of the public eye overseeing negotiations to end the conflict. The White House says it hopes to close on a deal soon, but Biden hinted at an obstacle recently.
And do you think it's time for Prime Minister Netanyahu to do more on this issue? Do you think he's doing enough?
No.
At the White House on Tuesday, administration officials say they are still working with the various parties in Egypt and Qatar to reach a deal that spokesman John Kirby said has 3 elements, though he declined to give specifics of the American plan.
We're working on a proposal that will secure the release of the remaining hostages and will include massive and immediate relief for the people of Gaza and also result in a stoppage of the fighting.
Analysts say intransigence burns on several sides. Hamas fears a deal that will sideline its status in the Palestinian territories, and Israel seeks to maintain control over parts of Gaza. But there is another player in this drama who stands to lose if a deal craters: Washington.
If we cannot negotiate, if we cannot bring pressure to bear on our friends, on our allies, for their own good, let alone for the good of the region and for everyone's good, then I'm not sure why anyone would perceive that our involvement down the line would be particularly valuable.
And what of the people born into the middle of all of this? Peace is something they have never known. Anita Powell, VOA News, the White House.